This is the video for 8.5, and before we begin, please pause the video and print out the handout that I uploaded for you and have that with you while you're watching this video and while you're doing your homework. So look at example number 1. In example number 1, I have a quadratic trinomial, x squared plus 8x plus 15. And I'm asking you to factor this. In other words, find the two binomials that, when multiplied together, equal x squared plus 8x plus 15. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what are the factors of positive 15 that add up to positive 8? And the answer is 5 and 3, because 5 times 3 is 15 and 5 plus 3 is 8. So the final answer is x plus 5 times x plus 3. When I multiply these two binomials together, this will be my answer. So go ahead and hit pause and work on this on your own problem. And remember what the question is. You're asking yourself, what are the factors of positive 24 that add up to positive 11? And here's the answer. Example number 2, x squared minus 11x plus 24. Factor this. Ask yourself, what are the factors of positive 24 that add up to negative 11? And the answer is negative 8 and negative 3. Because when I multiply them together, I get positive 24. And when I add them together, I get negative 11. So this is my final answer. These are the two binomials that, when multiplied together, equal this trinomial. So go ahead and hit pause and work out this on your own problem and find the factors of positive 8 that add up to negative 6. And the answer is y minus 4 times y minus 2. Example number 3, x squared plus 2x minus 15. What are the factors of negative 15 that add up to positive 2? 5 and negative 3. Now notice I have a positive 5 and a negative 3. The signs of my factors must be different because when I multiply them together, I get negative 15. But the larger factor must be positive because when I add them together, I get positive 2. So my factors are going to be 5 and negative 3. So this is my final answer, x plus 5 times x minus 3. And I multiplied these two binomials so you can see why, when I add them together, they must equal positive 2. When I add the factors of negative 15 together, they must equal positive 2. So that's why you're always asking yourself, what are the factors of negative 15 that add up to positive 2? Now let's look at this example. You're asking yourself, what are the factors of negative 21 that add up to negative 4? The signs of the factors must be different because when I multiply them together, they equal negative 21. But the sign of the larger factor must be negative because when I add them together, I get negative 4. So negative 7 and positive 3 are the factors that I'm looking for. So my answer is going to be C minus 7 times C plus 3. And again, I foiled this out for you so you can see why when we add the factors together, we get negative 4. When we multiply them together, we're going to get negative 21 because negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. And then when we add them together, we're going to get negative 4. So always foil your answer at the end to make sure that you did it correctly. Go ahead and hit pause and work on these two on your own problem. And watch the signs and think about what these signs are telling you about the factors. This is telling me the signs of the factors must be different and the larger one must be positive. Here, the signs of the factors must be different, but the larger one must be negative. And here's the answer. And finally, example number 4. I'm asking myself the same question. What are the factors of negative 55 that add up to positive 6? Remember, the signs of the factors must be different and the larger one must be positive. So I'm looking at positive 11 and negative 5. Because when I multiply them together, I get negative 55, and when I add them together, I get positive 6. But be careful, I can't just say x plus 11 times x minus 5 as my answer, because I have this extra variable y. So whenever you have a polynomial written in this form, it will always factor like this. X plus 11y times x minus 5y. So you do need to memorize this, and you do need to recognize that a polynomial written in this form will factor like this. So go ahead and hit pause and factor this trinomial. And here's the answer, and I went ahead and foiled this out for you so you can see why this works. Now this is the handout that I had uploaded for you, and I want to review it to make sure that you understand this. Whenever you have a trinomial in this form, what does this mean? This means the signs of the factors must be the same and they must both be positive. Here, again, the signs are going to be the same, but the signs are both going to be negative. This means the signs are going to be different, and the sign of the larger factor will be positive. Here, the signs are going to be different, but the sign of the larger factor is going to be negative. So use this handout while you're doing your homework, and eventually you will begin to memorize this.